You're sitting in your room, it's 11:30 p.m., and you've just spent the last 3 hours scrolling through people who seem to have it all figured out. They look effortless, they speak with this calm authority. And then there's you. You have that familiar weight in your chest, that internal voice whispering that you're just a background character in your own life. You've been told to just fake it till you make it. Stand taller, smile more, pretend you know what you're doing. But let's be real, it's not working. In fact, every time you try to act confident, you feel like an even bigger fraud. You feel like a glitch in the system. Why is it that some people just have it while you're stuck overthinking a 3-word text message? The truth is actually much more brutal than you think, but it's also the only thing that's going to save you. We've been lied to about what confidence actually is. It's not a feeling, it's not a personality trait, and it's definitely not something you can manifest by staring in a mirror. It's a biological feedback loop that you've accidentally been running in reverse. Think about the last time you promised yourself you'd wake up at 6 a.m. to finally start that project. You set the alarm, you felt that surge of late-night motivation, and you went to sleep feeling like a new person. But then 6 a.m. hit. The room was cold. You were tired. You hit snooze. In that one tiny, seemingly insignificant moment, you didn't just lose an hour of sleep. You fired a shot at your own self-trust. Hey, my word doesn't actually mean anything. It forces you to build a skyscraper on a foundation of sand. You're trying to project an image of a winner while your internal database is filled with folders of unfinished tasks and broken promises. But what if I told you there's a mechanical way to fix this? A way that doesn't require you to feel brave at all? It's called the Competence Loop. This is the framework used by elite performers, from surgical residents to professional athletes, and it is the only way to build a version of confidence that doesn't shatter the moment things get difficult. Most people think the order is confidence first, then action, then success. They wait until they feel ready, but ready is a ghost that never shows up. The Competence Loop flips the script entirely. It starts with a tiny, miserable, uncomfortable bit of action. That action leads to a tiny bit of competence. Let's look at why you're actually struggling right now. Maybe you're a student and you're paralyzed by a massive essay. Or maybe you're a creator who's terrified to post because you think the quality isn't there yet. You're waiting for the feeling of confidence to arrive before you hit record or open the laptop. If you base your life on them, you're letting a thunderstorm decide if you're allowed to walk outside. The Competence Loop is the umbrella. It's the realization that you don't need to feel good to do good. You just need to prove to your brain. Mathematically, your brain registers a win. It doesn't matter if it's a 10-minute study session or just making your bed. A win is a win. And wins are the currency of confidence. The reason you feel like an imposter is because you're focusing on the gap. The gap is the distance between where you are and where you want to be. When you look at that gap, it's overwhelming. It's a cliff. You've been trying to solve the puzzle of your whole life when you should have just been looking for one edge piece. We need to stop romanticizing the big break and start obsessing over the micro win. Now let's talk about the biological reality of your brain. Your brain has a specific part. There is only the next 5 minutes. If you can win the next 5 minutes, the gap shrinks. If you're currently at 0, don't tell yourself you're going to work out for 2 hours tomorrow. You won't. Tell yourself you're going to put on your gym shoes, but that's the point. You need a goal so small that it's literally impossible to fail. When you do that 5-minute task, you stop the bleeding of your self-trust. You prove that you can follow a command. That's the first spark in the engine. Most people fail because their ego is too big to start small. They'd rather dream of a marathon and stay on the couch than run a block and feel lame. Start keeping a done list instead of just a to-do list. A to-do list is a list of ways you haven't lived up to your expectations yet. Every time you complete a task, write it down. At the end of the day, look at it. This is how you show your brain the receipts. When that voice says you're a failure, you point to the list and say, actually, I did these 4 things. The data says otherwise. You aren't pretending to be a hard worker, you are looking at proof that you worked. Think about the imposter syndrome everyone talks about. Usually it's not because you aren't talented. You're trying to build a case without any witnesses. Every check mark on that done list is a witness testifying in your favor. After a week of this, the judge in your head has no choice but to rule that you are, in fact, a person of action. Once the loop is spinning, once you've spent 3 or 4 days hitting your tiny goals, you have to increase the stakes. This is where the magic happens. You'll notice something strange. You'll actually start to want to do the hard stuff, not because you're motivated, but because you're bored of the easy stuff. This is the biological sign that your competence is growing. You're ready for the bigger action. You aren't doing it because you've suddenly become confident. You're doing it because the loop has made it the logical next step. What happens when you fail? Because you will. You'll have a day where you hit snooze. Most people hit that one roadblock and decide the whole car is totaled. They say, well, I messed up my streak. I might as well waste the rest of the week. This is what I call the burned toast fallacy. If you burn one piece of toast, you don't throw away the whole loaf and burn the house down. You just scrape off the black part and move on. Real confidence isn't about never failing. It's about how fast you can recover. If you mess up at 10 a.m., can you be back in the loop by 10:15 a.m.? That recovery speed is the ultimate indicator of your long-term success. I want you to imagine yourself 3 months from now. You aren't a different person. You don't have a different face or a different life. But you have a different internal atmosphere. When you tell yourself you're going to do something, it just happens. There's no negotiation. There's no 3-hour debate with your bedsheets. That's what real self-confidence feels like. It's not loud. It's not arrogant. It's just a quiet, steady knowledge that you are a person who gets things done. It's the absence of the fake feeling. You aren't trying to be anyone else because you've finally become a version of yourself that you actually respect.